5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You'll never have the sacred stone.
Oh, this you crazy mother. What we do here is go back.
Hello everybody, it's Steven Jensen and Jessi Davin. I'm Steven Jensen and that's Jessi Davin over that way. There we go. Welcome to another live chat. We're going to be talking about Backlash predictions. We're going to be doing, we're talking about like the Paul Heyman and Bruce Pritchard and the changes to WWE Creative, all that stuff. And we want to know what you guys think about these shows. We want to know what you think about the changes in WWE, Backlash especially, those predictions and all that. So make sure to be active in the chat. And we do have some giveaways for you before we get started too. Before we get into all that, Jessi, how are you doing today?
I'm doing okay, hanging in there. It's a quiet day, so just hanging out, ready to talk some Backlash and ready to have fun and ready to give away some of these Wrestle Rumble entries.
Yes, we are. So that's a great way to start this off. Let us know also in the chat if the audio and the video and everything sounds good, looks good, all that stuff. I actively try to keep an eye on that to make sure, and I try to fix it throughout the show. So if there's any issues, just let us know. I always appreciate the feedback on that. As far as today, these are the matches for Backlash we'll be getting to, and this is the Wrestle Rumble entry, or the raffle that we're going to be giving some entries away for. So basically, they're only $1 entries, but I do have 3 of them to give away for free to y'all for watching the show. And the winner of this raffle is going to get all 3 of these replica title belts. You get the old school Winged Eagle WWF title belt, the old school ECW World title, and the old school WCW / World Heavyweight Championship. So 3 amazing prizes. These probably total up to be close to $1,000 or so when you account for like the shipping and the tax and all that stuff. It's probably about $300 to $400 a piece for each belt, I would guess. Yeah, awesome stuff. All you have to do to enter this this contest, all right? So what we're gonna do, all we ask, and there's no way of us really verifying these things, it's kind of on the buddy system, the honor system. Like the video, make sure you're subscribed to Jesse's YouTube channel, and then just comment in the chat, just saying, I liked, I subscribed, I want an entry. Just something like that, just so we know you want an entry for us.
Yeah.
If there's only 3 people, or, of course, if there's less, I'll just give those away to whoever wants them. If there's more than 3 people who do that, we have the random, name generator thing that we've used before for contests. And I'll do that at the end of the show, and we'll pick 3 people that'll have a chance for that. So once again, not a lot. I mean, once again, they're only $1 entries, but what I would recommend is, if you win a free entry, you might want to throw a couple extra bucks on there too, because obviously your chances of winning increase the more entries you have. I'll probably throw like $20 in this myself or something like that, just for the chance of winning all this stuff. I mean, it's a great deal, but it's a little something that we can do for y'all. And once again, Wrestle Rumble's just incredible. It's great that they even gave us anything to give away for this, because once again, it's. I mean, imagine a scenario. I know it is. I know it won't be because of all the people that use the website, but imagine if like 5 people put in like $1 each, and then they gave away like dollars worth of stuff. But anyway, so that's what you got to do, and then we'll talk more about this. I'll try to give some more reminders throughout the show about this giveaway. So.
And then I'm gonna say that super chats are a double entry, so you get 2.
Yeah, I'm fine with that too.
Yeah, and I'm trying my best to keep track of everyone. So I'm gonna do my best.
Yeah, we'll say. How about this? I think we've done the same way in the past. If you super chat, did I give 2 for the super chat and then 1 for? So if you super chat, of course, it's a little counterintuitive because obviously you could just spend $1 to enter the test. But if you do super chat because you want to support our channel here and what we do with the podcast directly, if you do any kind of super chat, we will put basically 2 extra. So if you just want one for free through the comments, you get 1 shot at the entry. If you send any kind of super chat, we'll give you another 2. So that would be a total of 3 for you. 3 chances.
Yeah, and plus, if you super chat, we automatically stop what we're doing, and we won't stop right away. We'll finish what we're doing, and then we'll get right to your super chat, and your question, comment is read right here on the show. So if you want to be a part of the show, obviously we love the chat, we see that, but it's really hard to keep track of it when we're doing this. The best way to get our attention is with that super chat. So any amount is appreciated. Obviously, no pressure. Please don't think we're going to pressure you into doing that. But it does really help both of us out a lot. So, yeah. Yeah,
so that's, for sure. So that's another kind of incentive there, beyond just potentially, being a part of the Wrestle Rumble raffle entry or contest and all that stuff. Of course, like Jesse mentioned, we will make sure to deep dive into anything that you want to talk about. So whether it's a question, comment, statement, your own predictions for Backlash, that kind of stuff, we will make sure to dive deep on that and try to give you your money's worth there as well, the best that we can, and make your voice heard on our chat. Shamrat Thank you for joining our chat. It says any amount cool. Yeah.
Yes.
Since we're only giving away dollar worth of entries, I would say any. I think the super chat minimum is set to maybe like $1 or $2, so it can't be
I think
like
it's like 99 cents or something.
so. So yeah, but yeah, if you do some super chats, normally a few dollars, 1, 2, 3, 5. Yeah, we'll figure it out. Either way, we just appreciate anything that y'all send us, and we will make sure to get you plenty of opportunities to get into the Wrestle Rumble, a free entry for the Wrestle Rumble raffle. So, as far as like the stuff going on this week, I feel like pretty much all there. I mean, there's plenty we can always talk about with AEW and stuff because we both love that show so much, and they're just consistently putting on great shows in my opinion. Especially when it comes to the Cody TNT. I love the open challenges already.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I guess we'll talk a little AEW before we talk WWE, since at least we get started on something positive that we actually like really care about. Do you have any just like overall thoughts on like AEW at the moment? Anything that you want to talk about?
Well, I think one of the things we were talking about before we went live was how interesting this. Oh my goodness, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Oh my goodness, I appreciate that. I don't know
Thank
how to
you,
say Shamrock.
Shamrock.
I think, yeah, I don't want to say it wrong. But thank you so much. We will get you that extra. God, please don't let me break my new phone. Okay.
So that's a perfect example right there. Shamrot just gave a super chat, and he gets 3 because he basically commented saying he wanted one by super chatting. So
Yeah.
so he gets 3 chances at
Very.
free entry. And Shamrot
Yeah.
also, you didn't leave a message with that. Feel free. You don't have to send another super chat, but like I'll keep an eye out for it. If you have like a comment or a prediction or a question or something like that, we'll definitely do that for you and treat it like the super chat since you didn't send like along with the money. So
we appreciate that, and I think AEW is really. We were talking about before how, at least I think both of us kind of agree. We both kind of are having some WWE burnout. I feel like without the crowd, I don't know why AEW is working without a crowd for me. And I think this is just obviously subjective. I'm not saying this is fact. But just for me, AEW, it feels more like it works without a crowd. I feel like WWE is such a spectacle and it's a grand thing, and we all love that, right? We love the full stadiums full of people and the huge amount of cheers and boos and chants and applause that we get during a live show, that when you downsize it, it kind of seems a little silly. And I don't think that's any fault to the talent. I don't think that's any fault to the people in production working really hard. Everyone backstage. I just feel like WWE is just such a grand spectacle. I think I said it's kind of like if the Rockettes were to just stop what they were doing and just come into your living room and do their little kicky dance. You'd be like, what? Okay, maybe like without the grand spectacle, it's just kind of silly.
right.
So I think I don't know. I appreciate AEW a little bit more, and I mean, I'm excited for Backlash. I feel like WWE has been delivering with these cinematic pay-per-views. I'm very interested to see what's going on with Backlash. I think every time I kind of have little to no expectations for the show, it does deliver, and it's fun. And I expect that, but I feel like AEW has been, to me, it's been a little bit more fun. And then and that's just purely my opinion. I'm not saying that it is. It's just purely my opinion. It's just been a lot more fun to me.
Yeah, I totally agree. Like, I was telling you before we went live, I don't watch AEW Dynamite all the time. Or, sorry, Dark. I watch Dynamite every week, but I don't watch AEW Dark every week. And every now and then, if I've just got some free time, I'll just throw some of those matches on. I really like how they segment them later on in the week, too. They'll put them out, like, specific matches, so I don't have to watch, like, the full show. I can just pick out the matches that I want to check out. And Shamrot, I see another super chat.
Thank you.
Much.
Yeah.
It says, I feel like Backlash is going to be pretty solid. Yeah, we'll get into that in a second. I mean, it looks like a decent card. It's just something I'm not, like, overly excited about, but I probably will be more excited, like, the more we, like, once we start getting into the predictions and start really thinking about it.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Shamra. I really, really, really appreciate it.
Yes, we both do, very much. Very much. I lost my train of thought, but that's exactly what the super chats are for. You get to get your voice heard, not just where I was at.
AW Dark.
Oh, Dark, thank you. Yeah, so I was telling Jesse before we went live. I watched Marco Stunt and Luchasaurus versus Peter Avalon and Brandon Cutler from AEW Dark, just like a standard tag team match, and obviously going into it, like I know that Cutler and Avalon aren't going to win, and like their gimmick is neither of them have won in AEW. And it's interesting because it's similar to kind of like the Kurt Hawkins storyline that went on for where I'm getting kind of invested at this point in like who is going to get a win first, the Librarian or Cutler, or is like one going to finally just like straight up turn on the other, or like will they wrestle each other finally, and like that way. And I'm actually interested in it. And I really enjoyed the match. Like it was, I think some people might say that Cutler and Avalon maybe got a little too much offense in if they were like nitpicking it. But outside of that, it was a really great tag team match with no fans on a YouTube show that, I don't know. I don't know why even something like that was so much more entertaining to me than like what I've been watching on WWE lately.
Yeah.
I'm more entertained by that stuff than, I mean, even like Amber. I keep calling him that. It's such a bad habit. Even Moxley wrestled on AEW Dark this week. Like the world champion was on the show. Like wrestled like a jobber guy that I didn't really know, but it's like it's cool. Like there's just a totally different feel to what they're doing, and even when you look at like the WWE, I see like on Twitter, Demon Diva. She says this a lot also, and I agree with it. It's like, to me, like Drew McIntyre she's just like the empty arena champion. Like,
Yeah.
like he won the title. My brother even, who doesn't even watch wrestling, he watched WrestleMania with me and my friends. And every time he talks about Drew McIntyre, for one, he doesn't even know the guy's name, which is like a bad sign to begin with. But he's always like, that poor guy who won the title in front of he feels so bad for him. He's like, that poor guy who because my brother obviously is like super familiar with Brock Lesnar, between wrestling and UFC and stuff. So like, he was like, that poor guy, like lifelong dream beats Brock Lesnar, like the big star, and like in his mind, he's like, the second the crowds come back, Brock's just gonna win that back. They're just gonna pretend like none of this ever happened.
Oh my God, that's so true. Especially with the whole Paul Heyman thing. I mean, it's got to be signifying a Brock Lesnar return.
Yeah, I don't know what they're gonna do, but like it wouldn't surprise me if they went that route. But it's just like that's like from the casual fan. My brother being very much a casual fan, it's like even he looks at that and he's like, "There's no crowds. Like, is this guy really like? Does anyone really care if this guy's a champion or not?" But like I look at like AEW and I'm like, I feel like everybody cares about Cody's TNT title. Everybody cares about Mox being the world champ. Like it's just a totally different feel between the two shows right now, in my opinion.
I know it's interesting, and I don't know if that's more to do because AEW is so fresh and young, and WWE's been around for like forever, and you just kind of go through the cycle, but it feels like I feel like the championship, you see the champion more often, you see the title defended more often, and it may be because WWE isn't in front of a crowd and I feel like WWE is just kind of stuck on hold, really. There's changes happening, there's, new champions here and there, but it just feels like it's on hold because they want to wait for crowds for these big pops, and meanwhile you have AEW going ahead with the FTR debut, going ahead with the Matt Hardy debut, going ahead with having Nyla Rose lose the championship to Shida. You have Cody winning the TNT championship. You have all this kind of like, let's just go ahead and do it. Go ahead and do it. We got to continue on. they've kind of put blood and guts on hold for sure, but they keep going. And I feel like, and I hate to say this because I do like Drew McIntyre and I love his story and I love um just how he's really like revamped himself, but he feels like a placeholder champion. And that's not right and that's not fair to him. I feel like he deserves to have a strong championship run. And right now he just can't have that.
Yeah, yeah, it's interesting because also like, I'm not like looking at the full Raw roster at the moment, and admittingly, I haven't been paying nearly as much attention to the shows as I have for the rest of my entire life when it comes to WWE. But it doesn't seem like he really has like a real strong list of contenders either. Like,
Right?
that's gonna be a problem for him also. Like,
Yeah.
like I like Bobby Lashley. I think that he's physically impressive. He's super athletic. I follow obviously his MMA career as well, and he's actually had a super like under the radar, underrated MMA career. He's only lost like one or two fights, and they were to like legitimate fighters that there should be no shame in those losses. He's beaten when he should beat, for sure. And I like him versus McIntyre, and I like that MVP is like managing Lashley. I think it's a good, like, I think all that's good.
Works.
Right, it all works, but I just feel like if the WWE hasn't pulled the trigger on Lashley by now, they probably never really will, and I don't think they're gonna do it like at the expense of McIntyre, which we'll talk about in our like official predictions. But my point more so is like, let's say McIntyre retains the title, which I expect him to. If what's next? Like the winner of Edge versus Orton, or like what? Like I don't.
Brock Lesnar.
Who or Brock? Yeah, if Brock comes back. Because outside of that, you have like, I mean, really talented people. Like, you got Rollins kind of on the outside. You got.
Yeah.
I love Andrade and
Yeah.
Garza and that whole thing. I mean, I just don't think that they're being, they've lost all the big matches lately, like that they've been in. So there's talent on Raw. I guess I just don't have like the faith in their booking, which is a great segue into this topic. What do you think about the changes in creative? Paul Heyman is not going to be in charge of any kind of creative. He's just in quote unquote like on air, or like they called him an in-ring talent.
Yeah, what the hell was that about?
Yeah, I've never really seen Heyman in the ring.
Yeah.
He's taken some bumps, of course, but he's never. I guess they mean as a manager or kid or whatever. But yeah, what do you think about that? Because now Bruce Pritchard is basically in charge of the whole creative team. But of course, at the end of the day, it all has to filter through Vince McMahon. So, yeah. What are your thoughts on those changes this week?
I thought that was very interesting. I wholeheartedly disagree. I think Paul Heyman, while some of the stuff that he writes is a little edgy and a little kind of Jerry Springer-ish and very ECW or whatever, I still love it. I thought the Paul Heyman era, so to speak, was like really fun. I thought he had a lot. I felt like Raw was definitely more of a not adult show, but it felt more edgy than SmackDown. SmackDown was just kind of campy, silly, like much more of the PG kind of stuff. Which I don't know, I may be wrong about that, but I just felt like the whole thing was just, I felt like Raw was definitely like more like still hanging on to like the last thread of the Attitude Era a little bit sometimes, especially from a live crowd. I've always thought SmackDown was like more of the vanilla show. It switched back and forth every now and then, but I really thought Raw was definitely edgier. So it's really interesting. I feel like that's a lot. That's like a huge like position for someone to be in, like Bruce Pritchard. I feel like it was probably healthier for both Paul Heyman and Bruce Pritchard to have separate shows and separate roles. That way you could focus more on each show. I feel like I don't know if they're gonna like put both Raw and SmackDown together, or if they're gonna still solidify them as different brands. But I mean, talk about burnout. It's a real easy way for Bruce Pritchard to get burnt the f out, and I'm scared for him because I feel like that's a really big role, and at the end of the day, it all goes through to Vince McMahon, and if he turns it down, you got to rip up the script and rewrite it. And I felt like, sure, Bruce Pritchard is a WWE guy. He's a WWE guy. He's there. You had Eric Bischoff, who was WCW. You have Paul Heyman, very ECW. But Bruce Pritchard's been WWE guy. Vince McMahon, yes man. And while that's okay, I think it's important as sort of a mild checks and balances system for someone like Heyman to challenge Vince McMahon a little bit, trying to convince him to do something different and see if it works. And a lot of times I felt like it did. So yeah, this is weird. And I hope that it's due to a Brock Lesnar return, like a full-time return. However, it's just weird. It's weird. It's stupid. It makes no sense to me. I appreciate what Paul Heyman did. I don't see how this makes anything better. I just feel like it's just going to cause a lot of confusion. And with the furloughs happening, they had to furlough a lot of writers, which is unfortunate. And I hope they get their jobs back. So to have one guy doing both shows it's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah, I heard Brian Alvarez talking about this. I can't remember who else was like on the show with him. It might have been Craig. Craig, the dude with like the dark hair, wears like Invisalign.
Craig, he does Brian and Vinny and Craig. He's
a
bigger fellow. He's really sweet. He's so sweet. He Jim Valley does the show on Fridays.
I can't remember, like, I'm really bad with everyone's name outside of Brian Alvarez on that show. I like all the people.
There's Semper Vivi. Is it Semper Vivi?
So there's one dude who's like almost always there, who's just like
it's
a totally average guy with like dark hair, and I'm pretty sure he wears like Invisalign braces. Like I'm pretty sure. Like,
he's got like Falcon stuff.
No, the other guy. Okay, so no, that guy's like always there too, and like he's like the producer or whatever, or at least looks like he is.
No, he's not. He's just Semper.
He's just in a different room.
Yeah, he's in his studio at his house.
Oh, I see. Gotcha. That makes a lot of sense. Especially right now. Yeah. Anyway, regardless of who else was in the room, I remember on the show, Brian Alvarez was talking about how Paul Heyman had, a contract as a writer and a separate contract as an on-air talent, and for the same type of reasons of what you were just saying, where like a lot of the furloughs and firings and stuff, they're probably trying to eliminate a lot of the people who have double contracts and just pay them once for like one role instead of having them do multiple things and having to pay them multiple contracts, stuff like that. I mean, to be honest, I think everyone's overreacting a bit to all this with the writing team. Mainly because I don't think any of the changes actually matter at all. Because at the end of the day, it still all has to filter through Vince. I don't think it matters who's in charge of creative. I don't think it matters who's on the creative team. There have been plenty former creative members who have talked about like over the years how they were with the WWE and like. So here's the thing that I think a lot of people don't realize, or at least like really consider, is all the great ideas that we have as fans. Like when we're sitting around and like, oh man, this would be awesome if like this happened, or like this guy wrestled that guy, or like this storyline played out like this, or blah blah blah. All those ideas that we have, those are all being pitched to Vince. Like we're not the only people who can see like storylines that could potentially unfold in like really cool, interesting ways. Like these are all the good ideas are being brought up in these rooms by. I mean, you have to imagine that the writing team was like 20-something people. Out of like 20-something people, at least a handful of them are gonna have the same type of ideas the rest of like the hardcore wrestling fans do. So it's one of those things where like it just doesn't matter, because at the end of the day you could be. I mean, Paul Heyman, in my opinion, is all time outside of you gotta give Vince the credit because like he basically created modern day professional wrestling, but I think Paul Heyman was the most creative person to ever do anything with that, like with what he did with
Absolutely.
the way that he's managed Brock and the way that he's been a mouthpiece for Brock. I'd like to see him take on a new client. It just hasn't happened. It just hasn't worked very well in like the recent years with like Curtis Axel and Cesaro and stuff like that. And Ryback and stuff. But it's just one of those things where like you can be the smartest, most creatively intelligent person in the world when it comes to professional wrestling, but if the 70-something-year-old Vince McMahon wants it done a certain way, or wants a certain person pushed, or wants a certain storyline, or whatever it is, like, that's where the decisions are actually being made. So it really doesn't matter who's underneath him in that process. It's all still Vince.
Yeah.
So it's just interesting. I don't, I just don't see it, and until there's like a legitimate overhaul, like where Vince takes like a step to the side. Like he doesn't have to completely leave. He just needs to have like less of a say. Like if he was more of like if like Triple H is the obvious replacement, Triple H and Stephanie like combo between them. If they had something where it's like Triple H has like they could even position it where it's like he's 51% in charge of creative control.
Yeah, he would.
Right. Vince is 49% in charge. So Vince still has a big say, but Triple H can supersede Vince in the decision-making process. That would be humongous. Because a lot of good ideas that Vince would stop, Triple H, I think, would go with. So...
Well, I mean, and you have Vince McMahon who stepped aside to watch over the XFL now coming back full time because the XFL is no more. So
yeah, and I will say this: the XFL, as big of a joke as like the whole thing was the first time around, and as much crap as like as little sense as it made to bring it back, like because I just didn't understand. Like, outside of, like, gambling reasons, people like to sports bet and play, like, DraftKings or whatever. Like, it didn't make any sense to bring that back. But NFL ratings are, like, lower than ever. Like, it was such a weird idea, like, to bring football back when they brought it back. But it was doing pretty darn good before it had to shut down due to the pandemic that they had no control over. So I have to give them credit where it's due. The XFL was a much bigger success the second time around than I
then it should have been.
Could have expected.
Absolutely, and it sucks. I miss it. It was fun.
Yeah, you actually watched and like knew about it, and that's another thing about like Jessi that I don't think you get enough credit on, and I've had to defend it before, where it's like, well, because like when it comes to wrestling, it's the same way.
Yeah.
You like legitimately know yourself when it comes to football. Like we can have like legitimate football talks, like way more about college football than I do. We're probably pretty close when it comes to like NFL because I actually pay attention to that. But I wasn't watching XFL even, and like like the XFL players and stuff, which is nuts.
Hell yeah, especially the Buckeyes.
Right.
I kept track of that.
That's a big reason why I like doing the show too, because I've said it plenty of times before, but it's one thing to just do a show because you obviously have like your fan base through like OnlyFans and through Twitter and all that stuff, and I think there's a lot of really attractive girls out there that claim that they're wrestling fans, and they probably watch a little wrestling, but it'd be tough to have like these like in-depth like legitimate conversations, like really get into this stuff, and you're able to do that. Like it makes my part of the show incredibly easy. So
thank you. Yeah, I mean, I make no claim to be like the most knowledgeable person ever about wrestling. I'm still learning. Still something that like especially like back in the day stuff. I'm no wrestling historian in the slightest. But I am very passionate about it, and I do my best to learn as I go and try and keep learning new things about it. And I don't claim to be some knowledgeable guru, you know, about wrestling, but I love it and I'm a huge fan, and yeah, I try my best. So thank you.
Yeah, yeah. One, I'm able to kind of help out when it comes to the kind of more like the '90s wrestling stuff, especially
Yes.
or like like the 2000 ruthless aggression era on and all that. Because that's another thing too. When we were talking about like AEW earlier on the show, um, that's something I've actually caught myself thinking about quite a bit lately. Where like, because I was a WCW fan, like over WWF all day. I mean, I grew up in Atlanta, which is WCW country. Like,
Yeah.
Cody went to my high school. Dusty Rhodes was at our wrestling matches. Like, Sting was around town. Lex Luger was around town. I met Buff Bagwell and the Steiner brothers, and like it's like these wrestlers were all over the place. So it's like WCW was my life growing. Bill Goldberg played for the Falcons. You know what I mean? Like it's like
Yes.
yeah, like so. And I'm a lifelong Vikings fan. Don't get me wrong, but of course I know about Bill Goldberg, obviously. So, like, and he played at UGA, and UGA is, like, the college team for most people who live in Georgia and stuff. So, like...
Go go.
and it's cool because, even, like, Roman Reigns played at Georgia Tech. A lot of people don't know that. He's a really good player at Georgia Tech.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I was always WCW over WWF up until it got like really bad. Like once like WCW, I was still watching. Like I watched WCW all the way through the last Nitro, but towards the end, I caught myself clicking over to WWF a lot more often because they were really popping off and WCW was really trending down, and WCW started copying WWF storylines and stuff. And anyways, but when WCW went out of business, even then it was like, okay, WWF like drops the ball big time with the invasion angle, and then like you're still watching it, and they have the best roster like that's like ever been assembled in pro wrestling. Like by like 2002 or whatever, the WWE's roster was just stacked with star talent, just from top to bottom, between everyone they had acquired from WCW, ECW, and then of course everyone they already had signed to WWE. And but I've caught myself thinking about lately though is like, even when TNA came around in, I believe it was 2002, and then they really started hitting their stride a few years later once they signed like Samoa Joe and some of these other guys, they really, really took off. And I was a really big TNA fan. I was like pretty much waving the flag of like, wait, this over here, like what's going on over here is like way more fun to watch than what's going on in the WWE. Like I'm not, I'm a fan of John Cena now, but like back then, John Cena was like the Antichrist. Like John Cena,
Yeah.
he was enemy number one, and it was like I didn't want to watch John Cena and Chris Masters and Gene Snitsky and like these kind of guys. I wanted to watch AJ Styles and Samoa Joe and all those guys.
Dude, yeah.
Even like Amazing Red and I mean just people that you just didn't get to see in WWE. And eventually, that kind of petered out, and TNA had their problems, and I kind of bailed for the most part after I paid to watch the Jeff Hardy Sting match on pay-per-view, and he went up.
Yeah.
I paid actual money to watch that because I was invested in Sting and Hardy. Jeff Hardy's still one of my favorite wrestlers to this day, and you got him in your background and stuff. But it's just one of these things where I keep catching myself thinking about this, so where I'm like, had AEW or something like this good been around this whole time, like that's really the only reason I was watching WWE is because like I wanted to watch wrestling because I love wrestling, but there was no real other option outside of like the various indies and stuff. But even back then, it was like you had to order DVDs or pirate, like find stuff on like Kazaa or LimeWire or something to keep up with this stuff. Like that's I think that's part of why me and so many other people, like when we're watching AEW, it isn't so much that it's like fuck WWE versus AEW. It's like
No,
I've just been waiting for this type of show this entire time.
It's a healthy alternative to
Yeah.
WWE. Exactly.
Yeah. Corey says early TNA was Ring of Honor. Oh, a lot of it was.
Yeah.
Definitely right about that. Yeah, I remember getting into Ring of Honor when, I mean, I can't remember the first person, but I remember Paul London really getting me into that. Trent Acid back in the day. I mean, there were so many people. Amazing Red was another real big one when it came to Impact or TNA wrestling. Um, Even Jack Evans. Like, I love Jack Evans back in the back in Ring of Honor in like the early 2000s. Now he's a part of AEW, which is kind of nuts that it's been this long and he's just now.
Jeez, I know.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he was on Wrestling Society X on MTV, but that doesn't like really count. Even like Teddy Hart and those kind of guys. I mean, there was like, man, those were the days. But it's cool to see that so many of them are now a part of AEW. You can kind of say the same thing where it's like TNA with ROH. Well, kind of AEW is kind of ROH too, to a degree. There's a lot of those guys that are a part of AEW now, which is really cool.
Yeah, I'd like to see them work together.
Yeah.
Or not TNA, ROH. Sorry, ROH, yeah.
I just got a message from Greg Cherry. Oh yeah, hey man. Let me bring this up right now. I'll plug it right now. I'm gonna be a part of the Wrestling Trivia Challenge.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's gonna be on June 26th. Me versus Greg Cherry, who is in the chat, going ahead.
Yes.
So that's in a couple weeks. If y'all want to check that out, I'll try to plug it more on my social media leading up to it. But yeah, good to see you in the chat, Greg. And also it's a good reminder to anybody who might have trickled in after our intro. We are giving away this here $1 entries to the Wrestle Rumble triple belt giveaway. All you have to do is just let us know in the chat that you want an entry, and we'll give you basically one chance at an entry.
I just wrote it down.
We're gonna give away 3 of them. So oh yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, Jesse in the chat right there. That's how you get one. And if you send any amount of super chat, and Greg, I know that super chat doesn't work for you. So if anybody sends to my PayPal, which if you can put my PayPal in there, Jesse.
Yeah.
So, if you send to my PayPal, just let me know in the chat that you sent on PayPal. I'll check my PayPal account, and as long as I see the sitting there, we will treat it the same as a super chat. You get an additional 2 chances at an entry with any super chat as well. So basically, a super chat equals 3 chances in a raffle to get an entry, or just by liking, subscribing, and just commenting in the chat saying you want an entry. We'll give you one free. I know that sounds a little confusing, but basically, all these will be on the screen at the end of the episode, and I hit a button and it'll randomly generate. We'll do it 3 times for 3 winners, and I'll get you free entries for this triple belt giveaway. So, all right.
Oh. Sorry, I was trying to copy and paste and it did a bunch of numbers. Okay.
PayPal.me/fight. There you go. Perfect. Terrell says, I'd like a free Wrestle Online entry to the rest. All right, Terrell.
Yeah, I got you first.
Perfect. Greg says he liked and subscribed. So
yes.
Greg's on there. I know Jen's keeping up with it.
Yeah, I'm trying.
JGZ on there. Perfect.
Yes.
Cool. And we'll try to remind you a few more times throughout this about how to get a free entry. So very much appreciated. All right. Well, speaking of super chats and all that stuff, now is also one more good time to remind you, if you want your voice heard, we're about to get into our predictions for WWE Backlash 2020. If there is anything you want to talk about when it comes to any of these matches specifically, if there are any predictions where you want someone to win, you want someone to lose, you want someone to have a certain title, you want your voice heard on our show, if you send any amount of super chat, we will make sure to get your voice out there, and we will do our best to deep dive on whatever that is. And if it has nothing to do with WWE or Backlash, anything you send with a super chat, we'll drop what we're talking about. We'll probably try to finish our thought on it, and then we will jump right over into what you want to talk about before getting back into Backlash. So the super chats are a way for you to control the narrative here and what we discuss on the show. So.
You control the narrative. We are a podcast of the people.
Yes, we are for the people.
Morgan and Morgan.
And also shout out, I hadn't mentioned, but I finally got this in.
Yes.
This is on Collar and Elbow's website. I don't know if they're still doing it. I would
No, I want
recommend checking it out. But all proceeds for this shirt go directly to the family of Shad Gaspard, who obviously tragically passed away a few weeks back, getting swept away, basically in the ocean, I guess it was. And
Yeah, he undertook
his last dying act was to make sure the lifeguard saved his son. And he basically had to make that choice. Like, do they save me or do they save my son? And he knew one of them was toast. You know, it was that kind of scenario. And he did I'm not a parent, but he did the thing that the decision that I would hope
Yeah.
to make in that same situation. And it's really sad. I'm actually starting to kind of almost tear up a little bit just thinking about that how just terrifying. But he was a great guy, and everything I've ever heard about him, it's been a pleasure to anyone he's ever met, and stopped like a robbery with like his bare hands at one point. I mean, just a good guy, a good Samaritan, a good member of the community, and especially with all like this Black Lives Matter stuff going on, he's the kind of guy that I think really needs to be highlighted as well. He was a black man who did nothing but help his community, and obviously loved his family. So I'm very happy to be wearing this shirt, and I also need to shout out Fightful.com because I do their Weekender podcast, and Sean Ross Sapp bought this shirt, or whoever it was, between Sean or I don't know if it was
Jimmy.
I don't know if it was Jimmy or I can't remember the guy's name. There's like a guy, like the guy who actually, there's like the money guy that actually sent our money to us. It isn't Jimmy or Sean. There's like the guy who runs Aware Ads is like where it all comes from. His name. Really great guy. He gave me a free like $25 Amazon gift card like during the pandemic. Is like
Oh wow.
and like go get groceries if you need to kind of thing. He sent it to everyone who worked at Fightful. But whoever it was, between the team at Fightful, I should say, they wound up buying the shirt for anybody who wanted one, so that there would be more money going towards Shad's family. So I need to really give huge
Awesome.
for that because they didn't have to buy this for me, but they did. I would have bought it myself anyways because it's really going to a good cause. But I wanted to put this out there. If you wanted to go to a good cause as well, I'd imagine that Collar and Elbow still has these available. And if they don't, there's probably still ways that you can donate and help support the family of Shad Gaspard. And I think it's a really important thing, for a really good guy. So, whew. All right, well, let's talk some Backlash. Like, bummed out. All right, we're gonna start off on the bottom of this card here. I'll have you go first, Jesse. We got Apollo.
Cool.
Do you want me to go first on this? Would you rather?
No, it's fine. I'll go first.
We got Apollo Crews versus Andrade. This is a rematch where Apollo Crews, had recently won the U.S. title from Andrade. Andrade will, of course, have Zelina Vega in his corner. This is, once again, for the United States Championship. Who do you have winning this match and why?
Ooh, I guess I don't have anyone yet, so I'll decide here. Who I would like to win is Apollo Crews. The reason being, while I love Andrade and I love the whole thing with Zelina Vega, I love her whole little crew and just kind of like the whole dynamic. It's very in depth, especially because they got rid of Austin. They get rid of Austin Theory and put him in with because went to Seth, right?
Yes, yeah, exactly.
I just want to double check myself before I went on. I love that. Yeah. I think it's great. I feel like they could do like a really good like not punishment angle, but like have
established dominance over.
Like no, I don't want to see like what is that called? BDSM or whatever.
Yeah.
What is that?
Yeah.
Kind of shit. I don't want it to be like that, but like very like I don't want to say. I was watching a documentary about a very prominent rich people religion and how if you don't like perform well, they send you to this prison and they make you do all this horrible stuff. I'm not saying that Andrade should do that, but I'm saying like kind of like drop down and give me 20 kind of thing.
Yeah, like fraternity
Like, kind of
hazing.
like send him to like go do like some hardcore conditioning. Like you didn't win. Like, and if he wins on like a roll up, have him practice, getting out of the roll up or whatever. Like I feel like there's so much like Andrade like wouldn't a loss wouldn't hurt him. He could almost benefit from it. And plus I want to see Apollo Crews have a proper championship defense on a pay-per-view. I feel like that would be great. I feel like that's really strong for Apollo. He won the championship. He deserves to defend it and win. I feel like he's a great person. He's a great wrestler. He's fantastic. He's incredibly talented. He's athletic. I love his style. I've always loved Apollo Crews, and I was really bummed out when he kind of faded away a little bit. I'm glad that he's back, so I'd like to see him defend. I'm going to go ahead and say Apollo Crews defends his championship and retains and wins. I don't know how, but he's going to win.
I'm with you. I think Apollo Crews retains as well. I just don't think it would make a lot of sense for him to get that big win over Andrade for the belt and then just drop it right away, because then that kind of puts him right back in the spot he was in before he won the title, which doesn't really help anybody. I'm interested with Andrade though. I'm like really interested because this is one line of thinking that the WWE's booking does often that I just cannot stand, where they have a really bad habit of people who lose secondary titles going on to challenge for the world title afterwards. It makes no sense to me. It seems way too often that somebody loses the United States Championship or the Intercontinental Championship and then like loses the rematch or whatever it is, and then they're the number one contender for the world title after that, coming off of a loss. I just don't understand the line of thinking with that.
Yeah.
There are certain ways you can do those scenarios that make sense. Perfect example, for those of you keeping up with Impact Wrestling, which I'd imagine probably isn't many people, but I'd recommend it. It's a super hit or miss type of show, weekly. There are certain things that frustrate the hell out of me, like seeing Johnny Swinger on the show in 2020 and stuff. Like the Sandman will pop up occasionally and like Sabu and stuff, and I'm just like, all right, I don't need to see. I love these guys 20 years ago, but like I don't really need to see this now when they have the amount of talent they have, when they got Willie Mack and Rich Swann and the Rascals and Ace Austin and Tessa Blanchard and Michael Elgin and Eddie Edwards, and I mean the list goes on and on. There's all this amazing talent that Impact Wrestling has. And one thing that they've done recently, which I really like, is Ace Austin was the X Division champion, and he was killing it, having great matches. And then Willie Mack beat him for the X Division title, which I really like, because they need to push Willie Mack. They need to push Ace Austin and Willie Mack. But like Willie Mack would have really been hurt by not being able to beat Ace Austin because he had some chances at it. So anyways, to make a long story short, Ace Austin lost the X Division championship. Willie Mack is the new X Division champion. But you still have Ace Austin here, who you can tell is like a future star for the company and should be in the title picture. So they did this whole tournament this past few weeks that Ace Austin eventually won the whole tournament to become the number one contender for the heavyweight title. So it's like, it makes total sense. Like, you lost the secondary title, and you're not just getting a title shot, like you lost, but now you've beaten like 3 top contenders in a tournament, and now it makes sense. Like, you're right back up there for a title shot. But WWE doesn't do that. What'll be happening is Apollo Crews will probably beat Andrade like clean, or like very close to clean, and like the next night on Raw, Andrade will come out and attack Drew McIntyre, and somehow he'll just, or even like Seth Rollins loses to Kevin Owens at WrestleMania, and then he's the number one contender for.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't make any sense.
No, it's weird. It's weird booking. It's not even 50-50 booking. It's just bad.
Yeah. But 50-50 booking is a big part of the problem of what makes it bad.
Yeah.
Because nobody gets elevated beyond anybody else. Like in AEW, we're already seeing like a totem pole. Like tiers of like clearly...
Win-loss records.
Right, exactly. There's an actual contender system. And it's pretty clear who like the main event level talent is, who kind of the upper mid carders are, the mid carders, the lower talent, the jobbers. Like you can kind of, and that's actually how it should be. Not everybody should be on the same level because that's how you build people to where you actually care about people. Like when Marco Stunt eventually gets like a big singles win over someone, it's gonna be a really, really big deal. Like when Brandon Cutler and Peter Avalon wrestle each other, which I'm assuming will be whenever there's crowds, like one of those two guys, like there's gonna be a massive pop to see somebody get a win, even though.
Yes.
And then it establishes like, okay, well you're still pretty much jobbers, but like, okay, you're better than that guy. And now if you ever have a rematch down the line, like there's levels to it, and there should be. I talk about the indie wrestling totem pole constantly on the Weekender, where I've got kind of like my handful of guys that I'm like, these people are ready for television. So like you got like your Mance Warners and your Matthew Justices, your Kurt Stallions, and there's a handful of people where it's like these people can get signed right now to any company. Warhorse Jake Parnell's getting real close right there.
Yes.
Holding back Warhorses, he just hasn't been doing it very long. He's still like pretty, but he's incredible with where he's at. So,
yes, he's so good.
So there's like this whole group that are like ready right now. But then there's some people kind of underneath where I'm like, if that guy got signed, I don't know how it's going to turn out. But that's how it works. Because guess what? Mance will get signed, Justice will get signed, all these guys will get signed, and then that's your opportunity. Same with someone like Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega was always kind of that mid-carder, upper mid-carder guy. Then AJ gets signed, everyone else gets signed, Shinsuke gets signed, blah, blah, blah. Now Kenny Omega has his chance to be the top guy and goes out there and has the best matches we've ever seen in history. Like, that's how it works. That's why you need these levels. Everybody can't just all be on the same level. And he does a really bad job with that. They have like 3 people above everybody else, and everyone else is the same.
It's a healthy transition when people either move on or age out, or like, you know what I mean? Like, you build these people, like, you know, you said an AJ or Shinsuke, and they leave because they're at the top. It's a healthy way. It's like a healthy stacking system, so that you always will have these talents that will keep building and building. It's a way, it's like a progression that works.
Yes. It's something where like Corey said Mance Warner's an MLW. Yeah, I mean like a major promotion. MLW is great. Like there's a lot of really good talent in MLW, and I'm very happy for the people who are signed to MLW. It's a very good place to work. But what I mean is more, you know, mainstream as far as like WWE, AEW, something like that, even like New Japan. Even like Ring of Honor, I would, still consider to be bigger than MLW and stuff at the moment, and Impact. Warhorse with Danhausen and ROH should be awesome. Yeah, they're doing a lot.
I thought Danhausen was in ROH.
Danhausen's already there, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, Warhorse hasn't been wrestling there. At least not yet. He's great. I was at like one of his first matches. I remember his mom was in the crowd. She was sick. And he was just this kind of like little kind of I shouldn't say chubby, but he was like a lot of baby fat. He was like a little kid. Like if a Warhorse wrestler, he couldn't have been older than 20 years old. I mean, I don't even know how old he is now, but he was like a kid out there. And that guy's hard work is just, he built his own gym in his garage. I mean, out of like like cement and just random objects, like to just. But anyway, I guess we can move on from all that. But yeah, we both got Apollo. Next up, we have the triple threat tag team match for the women's championship, the women's tag team championships, I should say. The new champions, Sasha and Bayley, defending against former champions Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross, and I guess you say former champions, the IIconics, Billie Kay and Peyton Royce. I'm up first on this prediction. I'm gonna say that Bayley and Sasha keep the titles. I don't know why you would stop the momentum that the two of them currently have. They seem to get a lot more buzz than any of the other women right now. I see most like social media talking about Bayley and Sasha. So yeah, I'm just gonna say it doesn't make any sense to take the belts off them. So I'm gonna say that they retain. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I'd have to agree. I loved their little photo shoot where they were on the floor crying. I thought that was great. What, like, to me, I feel like they gotta do something. Remember, like, and I know that they followed up with this, but the slap when Billie Kay slapped Peyton. And I know that Billie Kay got into the ring and she forgave her and it was all that, but I feel like that happened for a reason. I mean, obviously it's WWE and maybe they just did that to make us go, ooh. But I feel like they need to do something with that, like, tension or something, tease that. I can't see the Iconics ever splitting up though. I just don't. Just either of them on a singles run just doesn't work. Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross. I mean, I like them, but they've been champions for a long time. I feel like you said Bayley and Sasha add a new element to it. I feel like it's fun, it's new, it's exciting. While of course, a bunch of champions retaining, it's like, oh, okay, whatever. But I feel like they need to. I know Sasha has a reputation of not, defending properly her titles, and I feel like she needs to probably at least defend this title with Bayley. I feel like that would help. And I feel like there's always a tension between Bayley and Sasha. Ooh, is Sasha gonna turn on Bayley? I just think it works. I feel like they're gonna retain. They're so powerful. They have, and this is no insult to them. They have strong egos. I can't wait to. I can perfectly picture them gloating with these titles after they win them, after they defend them and retain. I can just see it. It just works. It works. They work right now. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna say they retain.
I wouldn't even mind. I think we talked about it before. If Sasha were to beat Asuka for the Raw Women's Championship, and
They would have all of them.
like a 2-man power trip, like how
Right.
and Triple H, because that was a great storyline that got cut short because of Triple H's injury. But there was I could see something like that maybe playing out with Sasha and Bayley. They hold all the titles, and then maybe eventually one turns on the other. But I don't really see the need to turn either right now. Like, they're a good tag team. And I mean, I'll also say this. I'm just going to be dead honest. The IIconics might be the worst in-ring workers in the whole company. I mean, it's like, seriously.
I love their act, though.
Well, no, but a lot of people like their act. But it's like,
But yeah,
ring, I'm like, it's just so bad. I can't remember which
comedy.
word. I think it's Billie Kay. One of the two is like exceptionally bad in the ring. Like, to where like it's like,
Billie Kay.
Billie Kay. Yeah, I think that's probably the one I'm thinking of as well.
I love her so much, but girl.
Well, it's one of those where I can't remember because as I'm watching it, like, something will happen and I'll just completely zone out. I'm just like, all right, I can't. Like, I'm gonna lose my mind if I keep watching this.
You're gonna be joking me. You're gonna be joking.
Yeah.
Joking me.
Iconic.
Oh, iconic.
Whatever they do.
Joking.
Well, not for me. Oh, there you go. There you go. Break your whole mic set up.
Sorry.
Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross, so they're both solid in the ring. Like, I have no problems there. But yeah, Peter Davis says Peyton is good. Yeah. I mean, now that I'm thinking about it more, yeah, it's really more so Billie Kay than Peyton. But either way, not a really big fan of the team, and especially like Jesse was saying, if they actually split up and had a singles match,
Oh god.
imagine how bad that singles match is going to be. What a waste of everybody's time.
You could have Peyton with Billy as the manager, I guess.
That'd be okay. I mean, that would actually probably be the best case scenario.
But they wouldn't have to split,
Right, they wouldn't have to split for that. Right. Yeah, I don't know. Probably giving this too much thought as it is. Let us know. I'll just mention because I see some new people in the chat. Any super chat that you send while we're doing these predictions, whether it's your prediction you want heard or you have a question, comment, statement, whatever it is. If you send any amount of super chat, we will make sure to make your voice heard on our show, and we will dive as deep as we can on whatever you want us to talk about. And by commenting with or by super chatting, you also wind up getting 3 opportunities at an entry. We're going to be doing a raffle, basically a random raffle for a chance to get into this raffle at the end of the show. And if you want one shot in that raffle, all you have to do is like the video, subscribe to the channel, and just comment saying, I liked and subscribe. That's all you need to do. So we're giving away stuff throughout today's episode, or at the end of the episode. But just letting y'all know if you happen to be new to the chat, since we've mentioned.
Yes, if you're new and I haven't seen your name before, and you say, oh, I subscribed. Well, I'd love to see, because if you subscribe right now, your name pops up. So, yeah. I know a lot of these people have already been subscribed, so that's okay. But
Right.
don't be trying.
Right. Well, like a lot of y'all, we already,
Yeah, a lot we already
recognize
know.
a lot of y'all for like the people that are in here often. Shamrod said I did two super chats. Yeah.
Oh yes,
Yeah,
and you've
so
got
you
a
did.
ton of entries. Trust
Yeah,
me.
so you already got 6.
Yeah, I think. Hold on, I
6
think
on there.
7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because I did 2 for the super chats and then 1, so 4 for the super chats and then 1 for the comment.
Give who was it? Well, I'm losing my train of thought now because I'm watching the chat. Who was that we were just talking about with the? Sorry, that's that again.
Shamrot?
Yes, Shamrot. Yeah, we were give him one extra one. One of his super chats was like $10. If you not that I want this to be something where you feel pressured, but if you give us like $10,
Yeah.
I'll give you a couple extra chances. Since once again, these are
Yeah.
our entries we're giving out. If you give a super chat of $10 or more, we'll give you a couple extra chances.
I added another one.
Yeah. But even like I said, even like we said before, even if it's like a $1 or a $2 super chat, whatever the minimum on there is, you're still
Yes. Oh, Corey, thank you. Lots of love, prayers, and positives your way, Jesse. Thank you. I appreciate that, Corey, and thank you for always being involved and tweeting and messaging. And you are just an encyclopedia of information that we really do appreciate. I swear to God, anytime we have a question and Corey's in the chat, he answers it. Like, it's amazing, and we appreciate you so much, Corey. So thank you.
Yes, thank you, Corey. And I actually saw you say something earlier, and I'll actually touch on it now because you didn't really ask a question or anything with your super chat. I saw him mentioning earlier in the chat something about Kenny Omega versus Davey Richards. For those of you who like maybe have never seen some like old school Kenny Omega from his days in Ring of Honor, and some of you may not even be like familiar with Davey Richards. I would highly recommend checking out both of their stuff, especially like their matches against each other. That's one thing that I really appreciate about Corey is he's very knowledgeable about like early 2000s indie wrestling, which is or even like like around like the 2010s era and stuff is a lot of people probably don't realize Davey Richards at one point was like the next, not in his personal life, but in ring he was like the next like Chris Benoit. Like this guy was incredible, especially during his Ring of Honor run. He had some matches with Seth Rollins when he was Tyler Black that like basically got me back into indie wrestling after I'd been kind of out for a little while. So huge shout out to Corey for getting names like that out there in the chat. And thank you.
You are appreciated.
Yes, very much appreciated. Thank you.
Oh boy.
Here we go. Up next we got Jeff Hardy versus Sheamus. You're first on this, and it's apropos because you have the background there. I guess you can give me any thoughts. I mean, if you want to talk about the storyline, feel free. Whatever you want to talk about here, but you the floor is yours. What do you think about Jeff Hardy and Sheamus?
Sorry, I got acid reflux thinking about that.
That's a very sweet D from Always Sunny thing right there.
Okay. It's gonna end in DQ. No one wins.
Okay. Good prediction.
There's gonna be a piss revenge storyline or something that's gonna end in DQ. Jeff Hardy's gonna win by DQ. I do not like this storyline. I hate it. I kind of love it because it's so trash. I love it, like in that way. Like I would love this if Jeff Hardy didn't have the history that he did. And I know people are like, it's okay, he signed off on it. He had to. I swear to God, I don't know if there's some MK Ultra experiment going on right now with WWE where if they say signed off on it, like people will agree with it. He signed off on it. He signed off on it. It's got to be okay. Jeff Hardy agreed to it. It's okay. Cool. I get it. He probably agreed to it because Vince McMahon told him to. Like I cannot speak for Jeff Hardy, but if I were in WWE, okay, if I'm in WWE And WWE, Vince McMahon comes to me and says, we're going to put you in a really super trashy eating disorder anorexia angle. And for those of you that don't know, I've fought anorexia since I was diagnosed in late 2008. Been hospitalized from 2009 basically to 2011. Got down to 60 pounds. Almost died. Was hospitalized my entire pregnancy with my daughter. Sucked. I would say, hell no. Then I think Vince McMahon would show me my contract, show me how much money I'm making, and say that would be really terrible if you didn't do this. And I'd be like, okay, fine, I'll do it. And I would hate it. Not saying that's what happened, but I just don't feel like the whole he signed off on it, so it's got to be okay thing is cool. Like that doesn't. It's very invalidating to how some people feel. I don't get this. I don't get that. I mean, it's a little trashy.
Yeah, a little bit.
So it's kind of funny. Like, I mean, I guess I'm kind of hypocritical for saying I hate it, but here it is. It's my background. So I do kind of love it. I'm like, but I know. Here's the thing. I know that I can laugh at it, and I know that it's like not serious, and it's not something like. Alcoholism and drug addiction are not something that affect me personally. So I'm able to disconnect from that and laugh at it. But I know that there are a lot of people out there who do struggle, who do see Jeff Hardy's struggles and kind of relate it to like their own and see him continue to beat it and try and beat it and root for him while trying to fight their own demons. And to see this play out, I feel like I know a few people myself who think it's very insulting. So that just kind of hurt me and it bothers me. The pee thing was funny. Okay, the pee thing was really funny.
I mean, that's just classic funny.
It's just classic funny, poop, potty humor, duty farts, like super.
I'll be back in like 2 seconds. Sorry.
Yes, yeah. It's just super silly, super funny. Like, that's not actually pee, but it's like, oh. And okay, who pees that much for a drug test? You don't need that. You need this much. You don't need to fill up a damn beaker like you're going to go put it on a damn Bunsen burner. Like, for real. That's ridiculous. And he also looked really dehydrated. His pee was very dark. It looks like water here, so I'm just going to say it's water. For YouTube purposes. There's no winners here. It's funny, it's silly. Like I said, I can disconnect from the reality of a drunk driver, but I also have a cousin who was in prison for 4 years because his blood alcohol level was way over the limit, and he crashed his car and he killed his passenger. And I had to visit him for months in ICU, and I will never forget the pain that he was in. They stopped counting his broken bones on 50. And he had his stomach cut open, and they couldn't close it because his internal bleeding was so severe. So that whole thing was disgusting to me, the whole crash your car or whatever. But the pee thing is funny. So there are no winners here. I just say it's a DQ. I hope that it gets to funnier, trashy levels. Let's just go to farts. Farts are funny. Farts don't offend anyone. Let's just have farts. And I don't know. I hate this, and I love it at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, I'll admit I haven't watched SmackDown at all lately. So I've just been keeping up with the storylines through just reading or listening to Sean and all them on Fightful, talking about, the reviews or whatever they say, whatever Brian Alvarez is talking about or whatever Meltzer, that's pretty much been my extent of knowing what's going on SmackDown lately. And of course they're going to be overly critical on most of this stuff. So I don't really know how bad it's been versus I don't know. But I mean, it's definitely a bad look. I don't know why they would do this, especially so close to Dark Side of the Ring, because this is kind of,
God, I know.
It kind of seems completely you know what I mean? Now of all times, they did the whole thing on the Road Warriors, the Road Warriors. they did this storyline with Hawk, with his alcoholism and stuff, and like they didn't talk about it on that episode, but WCW did a very similar angle with Scott Hall, where he was coming out and he was drinking beer and like acting drunk because it was playing off of the fact that he was actually an alcoholic in real life. So I don't know why they're doing this. And I'll also say this: I'm not judging Jeff Hardy. I actually had a pretty similar upbringing to him, as far as like we both lost our moms like very young to like illness and stuff like that. And like I know, like, even for myself, like, you know, I've experimented with plenty of drugs myself, and like a lot for like that same reason, where you're kind of like trying to like figure life out, and like you're hurt from that, and like you're trying to deal with all this stuff. And for me, you know, weed was great, and I still, you know, allegedly, you know, might partake in that often still. But like, it's one of these things where the kind of the reservation I have with Jeff Hardy doing a storyline like this is like, even if he's clean at the moment, it's just like, and once again, I'm not judging the guy. It's hard for me to believe he's just like always gonna be clean, or if he even is like currently actually clean or not. And what I mean by clean is like weed's legal in like most states now, so I don't really even consider that like a bad thing. But if he's the kind of guy that likes to do other stuff, which, you know, he has in the past, I guess my reservation is like, let's say he has some sort of like real life relapse, because he's had his issues with like drinking and driving throughout the years, and substance abuse throughout the years and stuff. And once again, like I can relate. I understand kind of where his head's at to an extent, I feel like, and he probably just deals with a lot of stuff every day, and he does drugs to kind of keep his mind off it. Once again, I'm also not advocating people go out there and do illegal drugs or anything. I'm just saying I kind of get it. And he's like this very artsy, creative guy, and it just kind of all. I guess my point is like, if later this year Jeff Hardy got pulled over again and he was drinking and driving, or he got drug tested for whatever reason by the WWE, and they found like mushrooms in his system or something, like whatever it is, they're gonna look really, really, really bad for putting this on television. Mm-hmm. He has enough of a history of whether you want to call it messing up or getting caught or whatever you want to classify it as. His whole
instability, I guess.
Yeah, and his whole career has been like that. Like, he left the WWE initially because of substance abuse issues, and he wouldn't go to rehab. He went to TNA and basically got let go from he had like multiple stints in TNA because of his substance abuse, and like I mentioned the Sting match earlier and all that. And it's like, even with WWE, like recently, you know, he had like a recent thing with like a DUI situation and stuff, and it's like,
yeah.
What about WWE's creative process can't recognize that, like, because of his lifelong pattern of this stuff, I'm hoping it doesn't happen, but like the odds are at some point in the future, Jeff Hardy will run into some other kind of issue with this kind of stuff at some point. And when that happens, if it does, it's gonna look bad. Yeah, everyone's gonna point directly at this type of storyline and be like, okay, well, how mad are you really at this? You were exploiting his addiction problems for money.
That's the perfect way they're exploiting it. Yeah.
So I just think one thing, like, if Jeff Hardy like never fails another drug test in his life, never gets another DUI in his life, that's great. This storyline could be a great blow off to that whole part of Jeff Hardy's life. But he's also the kind of guy where, like, I'm going to be dead honest. Like, if the guy wants to sit around and do artwork and smoke weed and eat psilocybin mushrooms and drop acid or whatever this guy's into, I really don't care. I'm pretty liberal when it comes to that kind of stuff. So, like, I personally don't care what Jeff Hardy's doing in his personal life, but you can't be going around drunk driving because that puts other people in danger. Yeah, puts other people. Like, that's bad. But yeah, anyway, I guess my bigger point here is, I don't know why they feel like they need to do all this, especially this feud with Sheamus. Like, regardless, at the end of the day, who really cares who wins? Like, I mean, it's Sheamus and Jeff Hardy. Both guys are totally established with WWE. Like, they're both upper mid card to main event guys perennially. So I don't you didn't need all this. You could have just built it up as Sheamus versus Jeff Hardy, and it still would have been the same interest level, probably. So it just seems unnecessary, I guess, as far as.
Do you think that Do you think the colored water that he threw on Sheamus was warm? I don't know why that was going through my head.
I think he actually pissed in it. I think that was.
No, it was not. If it was, he needs to go drink some water.
Yeah. Wait, I think wrestling is real. I think it's all real. I'm thinking about it.
Oh my god, I can't believe he did that.
That was.
He has pink eye now.
How do they get a real doctor to like do that in the ring with them too? That's pretty.
That's a HIPAA violation right there.
It definitely a violation. Maria May, she needs to be signed to AEW. She's super hot. I've actually talked with her.
Yeah.
She was supposed to come on my podcast like. This is at least a year ago, and she no-showed. So I'm gonna definitely.
Damn.
But yeah, she's super hot. I don't know how good she is in the ring. I haven't really kept up with ring work, but she is very.
Speaking of ladies.
Well, you want to move on? I'm taking Jeff Hardy to win, by the way.
Oh, you are? Okay.
Yeah, I think that Jeff Hardy will challenge.
Establish no winners.
I think that Jeff Hardy will get into like the world title mix again sometime soon.
I hope so, especially for this shit. Like.
Yeah. Well, for one thing, it's like they can't really have him lose because then it just makes him look like a giant loser drug addict. And then
oh my god, you're right.
And then I also feel like every time they have Jeff Hardy, I feel like they're trying to get the absolute most they can out of him before he inevitably either messes up again or like leaves the company. Because I mean, if Matt's over in AEW,
maybe this is reverse psychology.
Yeah. So we'll see. Up next we have Asuka defending the Raw Women's Championship against Nia Jax. I'm up first on this one. I mean, I'm gonna take Asuka to retain just because no matter who it is, I refuse to choose Nia Jax to win a match.
Yeah.
I just can't do it. It'd be like me picking the Green Bay Packers to win a football game, which is never going to happen. It'd be I'm a Vikings fan. I'll just put it.
Yeah. I got choose. That reference.
Yeah, right. I can't root for. I can't like, even on my fantasy football teams. I'm playing fantasy football for like whatever it is, like between probably 12 and 15 seasons or something. And never once on my roster have I had a Bear, a Lion, or a Packer. Like no one in the NFC North with my Vikings. I cannot root for these. Like I don't want.
I know it's really hard for me to pick Wolverine. I can't pick someone who went there. I can't.
I'm glad I don't have that level of allegiance with the college football because that would limit my.
Oh, you would have no one. You lose.
Right. But yeah, I'm gonna take Asuka. Really funny. My brother, who I keep talking about, like he's once again a very casual wrestling fan. We were talking about Dark Side of the Ring earlier. He watched the New Jack episode of Dark Side with me. And he had never seen New Jack before in his life.
Oh God!
And he like still talks about it. This was like months ago.
Yeah.
Talks about it where he's like that guy was such a piece of shit. Like he's like this guy like he's like I think we're already demonetized this time. But he's like F this guy like this guy's supposed to be like rehearsed or not rehearsed, but you're supposed to be protecting. Even like my brother like understands you're supposed to be protecting your opponent, and this guy's just going out there and hurting everybody,
Not even for real.
But my brother calls Nia Jax New Jax.
Oh.
Because every time he's over and Nia Jax wrestles a match and someone gets hurt,
oh my God,
he's always like, she's the new version of New Jack, where she just goes out there and just throws people around and hurts them, and just nothing happens. Everyone's still.
I love that.
Yeah, so we've been calling her New Jax for a little while. But yeah, I'm taking Asuka. What do you got?
I'm taking Nia. No, I'm just kidding. Of course, I'm taking Asuka. I'm gonna be pissed
Simple.
as hell.
Right. Yeah, I just. Yeah.
Oh, but oh my God, there's a fly in here.
These two had a decent match in NXT, though. I do remember that for the NXT Women's Championship. So, I mean, if they can replicate that, I mean, I'll be happy with that.
Yeah, me too. But I want Asuka winning. But she's. Oh my God! What if Asuka's like ready to like lose, and then Kairi Sane comes walking out and gets her revenge on Nia Jax for all the crap that she put her through, and then Asuka's able to pin her or submit her.
I'd be okay with that.
That'd be cool.
I just don't want to see Nia Jax win and get the.
No.
I want to see this all be rewarded, like, because that's the thing too with like my brother talking about like New Jack and stuff is like what he really can't understand is how all these wrestlers that talk about New Jack, not all of them, but the majority of them, like how like they praise the guy, like that this guy was like awesome and they loved working with him and they loved him being a part of the locker room and all this stuff. You gotta fly there.
Yes. Sorry.
You're good.
Kill it.
But it's one of those things where he doesn't understand like all this praise that New Jack gets from like fans and other wrestlers when he was like out there just like, I mean, there was the one dude where he brought a blade to the ring in his pocket and just started stabbing the dude in the forehead in the middle of the match. It's like nobody agreed to this. This is a literal assault like happening in a wrestling ring, and it's the same kind of idea, not to the same extent with Nia because like Nia's not out there stabbing people, but like. It's the same kind of thought process where it's like, how many people does she have to go out there and like injure and like still get shots?
Being damn. What's that called? The thing you hit at the birthdays. Pinata.
Oh, pinata, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. DeAndre Fine says, "Yeah, baby, Skull Nation, Skull, hell yeah." Just got a. My brother's actually at Michael's right now, the arts and crafts place or whatever. He asked me if I needed some picture frames. I just got a bunch more 8x10s I need to put up, and one of them is a DeAndre like this. It's an old school. It's from 1998. It's a Randall Cunningham autograph. It's the cover of Sports Illustrated, like the year that. We were making that run in 1998 where we, made it to the NFC Championship and lost to the Falcons because Gary Anderson missed his first field goal all season. Still haunts me to this day, but I some new Vikings autographs in there and stuff, so I'm pretty happy about that.
Wow.
Yeah, and a bunch of wrestling autographs too. So happy about putting those up. Up next, we've got Braun Strowman. I didn't even know this match was happening. Okay, so Braun Strowman defending the Universal Championship against the Miz and Morrison in a handicap match. All I've seen about this is that slime video. That's it.
Oh yeah.
That's it. That's all I know about this. You're first on the prediction. Who do you think wins this one? Do you think Braun Strowman retains, or do you think the Miz and Morrison become co-Universal Champions?
Braun Strowman wins. Oh my God, I just realized we've had all the champions retain. Yeah, anyways.
Yeah.
This match makes... This feels sloppy. I'm trying not to be negative, but it feels sloppy. Why? I mean, it's funny. Okay, I like the goofs. But... I hate this. Why are there no tag team championship matches on this card? Like,
well, the women, but yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, like men.
I don't know what the champions are. The New Day and...
It's the New Day. And Street Profits.
Street Profits, that's right.
But I don't like this. It seems weird. This seems like a placeholder. Damn. Fly. I hate it. Like Miz and Morrison, Braun Strowman's meh. I actually just got a Miz and Morrison shirt. My husband got it for me. I was like, okay, thanks. Just.
You were like.
Thanks.
You were real stoked. Clearly, really stoked to get.
Well, he got me a whole bunch. Like he got me this Otis shirt too. It's really big. It's for
No, yeah, it's
so
so funny.
yeah.
Like, thanks. I'll okay, Miz and Morrison. Yeah.
Hey, ho ho.
The thing with the thing with Morrison to me is like the dude left WWE years, like a decade ago or whatever it was, right? And then like went out there and like completely rebuilt his name on the Indies and especially in Impact Wrestling as like their long-term heavyweight champion and all this stuff. Then he comes to the WWE and he's like right back to where he was before he left the WWE. Like you're going to get jobbed out in a handicap match.
Yeah, what?
I remember him coming out in the Royal Rumble and Brock just like throwing him out of the ring in like 10 seconds, and I was like, all right, well that's what they still think of Morrison. Nothing changed. Don't know why you signed that contract, buddy. Unless, I mean, he probably got paid good money. I can't knock him for that.
Yeah, I would sign for money. But yeah, I saw someone said, JGZ said, Braun retains and the Fiend attacks Braun. I feel like that makes sense. I feel like it's been how many weeks since JoJo had another baby? Okay, seriously, Bray Wyatt, give that woman a rest. She just had a baby, and now she just had another. Give her body some time. Congratulations, by the way. That would be really cool. I think that'd be a good way to get the Fiend back into the picture. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea as well. Because I feel like that's really the only place they can go with any of this is like, it's got to all lead to Wyatt getting that belt back as the Fiend. And, I mean, I'd even be okay if, like, I could see a scenario where they have Jeff Hardy, like, challenge the Fiend for the title at some point, because that's a really easy storyline to play off of all this stuff, you know? So that could be good. But yeah, I've got Braun Strowman as well. As Vince McMahon's theme song says, I think there's no chance in hell that Miz and Morrison win this match. It's just not happening. Really dumb match, by the way. I don't know how you do something better than that, but
I'm taking a picture for my mommy. Sorry.
JGZ says kickoff matches will probably be announced later today or sometime tomorrow. Yeah, I have no idea what they're even leaning towards with, I haven't been paying close enough attention to know. But, like, how is Seth not on this show? Like, how is...
Right? This show is weird.
Pretty glaring omissions. Even, like, Humberto Carrillo, who, like... I mean, they focus a lot of the show around him, and he's very good in the ring. Maybe he'll be on the kickoff or something. I don't know, but... I feel like some of those guys kind of deserve to be on this, and aren't on the show.
Yeah.
Terrell says Elias is sadly gone for.
Yeah, he just keeps getting hurt. It's so unfortunate.
It's kind of good for. I mean, not good. No, it isn't good.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying.
But it's good from the sense of like they never really do anything with Elias. As far as in ring, anyways, like he's won some matches, you know, like he beat Corbin and stuff and whatnot, but like
he's a proud hype man.
Right, exactly. Like he's really more used as exactly what you just said. Like, you know, you give him a couple segments to go out there and like get a bunch of heat or, you know, pops or whatever it is, like through what he does in the ring as like a character. It isn't that important for his character that he's out there having like good matches or long matches or really even any matches at all. It's really more about like, honestly, what I'd do with him, I'd have him like, even if he's injured, but if he can still like move around and not really risk getting hurt worse, I'd have him manage somebody. Like, you know, he could use like his guitar, like if like his person is, you know, down and out about to lose the match, you can, you know, crack him with a guitar, you know, Jeff Jarrett style, and you know, the person can win. And so there's a lot they can still do with Elias as a character, even if he isn't wrestling in the ring. But yeah, it is sad to see somebody who just, I mean, he's constantly getting hurt. Up next we have the World, or the WWE Championship match, I should say. Drew McIntyre defending against Bobby Lashley. I touched on this a little bit earlier on the show, so my prediction is already pretty much out there. I've got Drew McIntyre retaining, But I do think that Bobby Lashley and MVP is a good pairing. We talked about that earlier.
Yeah.
I'd even be good with MVP like recruiting more people because like he's been linked to that one tag team a little bit. I can't remember the names. It was like that random tag team that beat Ricochet and Cedric Alexander like a handful of weeks ago. The dude who hit the big boot, like he pinned Ricochet after a big boot. Can't remember.
Yeah.
No. But I think Shane Thorne is one of them. The guy who used to be in the
Yes. Oh. Shane Thorne.
generic creator wrestler, but he's big. I can't
Yeah.
remember his name, but he looks like just like your
It's
standard.
not hot.
Huh?
I was like, I was wrong. I was wrong. I'm always wrong.
Brandon Vick and Shane Thorne. Thank you. Yes, Brandon Vick was the person I couldn't think of. Looks athletic, but he just he reminds me very much of like kind of the generation of guys I was talking about way earlier in the show, kind of like the ruthless aggression, like Chris Masters looking type dudes. But yeah, I could see like Brandon Vick and Shane Thorne, like if they stay aligned to MVP, I do like that they're doing more of this stuff with these stables in the WWE again, and it's working for AEW big time currently as well. So, and it's been working in NXT, especially with like the Undisputed Era and stuff. So like, if they can build a little stable around MVP as like the manager, I think that's how MVP is best served at this point. Like, he's okay in the ring. He still like gets the job done in the ring, but he's a very good mouthpiece, especially for someone like Bobby Lashley who has difficulty on the microphone. I will never forget him calling Finley. You remember he did?
I don't remember that.
So Bobby Lashley, it was like one of the first times I feel like that Bobby Lashley really was on the microphone, and he was being built as like this. I mean, the next Brock Lesnar basically, and I think he was already the ECW champion. Like they really built up Bobby Lashley. They're really trying to. You know, even at one point, he was like the representative for Donald Trump against Umaga, who had Vince McMahon at WrestleMania. I mean, they really had a lot of plans for Lashley. And I remember him one time, he was feuding with Finley, and they gave him the microphone, and he's like, "You say your name is Finley, and you love to fight. I say your name is Finley, and
Oh
you're a
God.
bastard."
Oh.
He sounded so bad. Like for some reason he said like bastard instead of bastard. It was like he said it.
Does he have a speech impediment?
No, I don't know. He doesn't. I just think he has a voice that you wouldn't expect. It's a little higher.
Yeah.
He's like soft spoken in comparison, but for some reason he couldn't pronounce the word bastard correctly, or he sounded incredibly feminine the way that he said it, and it was like,
Maybe he didn't want to cuss.
I don't know, whatever it was. Like I remember that happening, and just everyone on the internet just roasting him. It was like, oh no, this is gonna kill this guy.
Yeah.
He can't cut a promo to save his life. This is
Rin.
a problem. So at least now he has the added benefit of like, MVP. Like the MVP can help him a lot there.
Use MVP's legacy status to the advantage of the younger, not younger, because Bobby's not younger, but the guys we were just talking about. Use that status to their advantage.
Yeah. Who do you think is going to win? Do you think Drew McIntyre is going to retain the title in this one?
Yes, I think Drew McIntyre's going to win. There's going to be no championship changes in this pay-per-view. Just a nice little fun one. There's more about storylines.
Speaking of storylines.
Yeah.
And before we get into the main event, I'll mention one more time. Of course, this is...
Really quick. You mention this really quick because I have to go pee. Because
go for it. Before I get into those predictions for the main event, and while Jesse's gone for a second, this is probably perfect time. This episode of the podcast is, of course, brought to y'all by WrestleRumble.com, and we are still going to give away 3 raffle entries to this Wrestle Rumble contest at the end of today's episode. The winner of, well, obviously, like, we're going to give away the 3 entries, and then the actual raffle at WrestleRumble.com is going to be right after Backlash. You can see here June 14th, right after Backlash. Of the winner is going to receive all 3 of the replica title belts. And these are like the real deal replicas. These aren't like the cheap kids versions. These are like, I wish I had my other camera set up. I've won an NXT title from them, and I've got it displayed in my office over here. But they're like the real deal, like the $300 to $400 replica titles, each of them. You know, this is like $1,000 worth of title belts right here. And they're only $1 entries, so if you want to join on your own, just $1 for a chance at all this, which is an incredible prize for such a honestly such a cheap entry price. But we are going to give away 3 of those. If you don't want to have to spend any of your own money, just let me know in the comments here on YouTube that you have liked and subscribed. You like this video and that you're subscribed to the channel. And if you send any level of super chat, regardless of how much money it is, obviously the entries at Wrestle Rumble are only $1, so you know, if you want to just enter with that money, we understand. But if you want to like support our podcast and also have a chance at getting some raffle entries, any amount of super chat that you send, we will make sure to give you 3 chances. And there have been people like Shamrat earlier. He sent multiple super chats, so he has like probably 8 or so chances at one of these raffle entries. If you send a super chat over $10, we're gonna give you like a handful of extra chances and stuff. So any amount of super chat, you still get 3 chances in the raffle, or for a chance at the raffle. But if you send $10 or more, because you're sending so much and because we're only giving away $1 worth of entries for supporting us, we're gonna give you a little extra. I've also got this, which I can give away too, that I completely forgot I had. If anybody wants this, I gave away an Ahmed Johnson WWF Just Toys Bend-Em figure. That's in the mail for Corey Williams, by the way, if you happen to be watching that.
Yay!
It is on the way. Yep. So I have another Bend-Em to give away. I figured this would be a good one. I had a double of this one too, and this is because the Undertaker's documentary comes back this Sunday, finally, I believe, which has been fantastic. I don't have any Undertaker figures to give away, but I do have a little Paul Bearer here. If anybody wants a Paul Bearer Just Toys Bend-Em figure, I will give one of those away. I'll send it out to you for free if you, as long as you live in like I guess you call it the continental 48 in the United States. As long as you live like within the U.S. and you're not in Hawaii or Alaska, I will mail this out to you. Just let me know. Same kind of thing for the Wrestle Rumble entry. Just type Paul Bearer or Bearer or something in the chat, just indicating that you want the figure. And if you want it, I'll mail it to you. Huh?
I said, ready, go.
Ready, go. Yep. So if you want it, just let me know. It's a cool little figure. Probably worth like $10 or so, give or take. I don't know. But I obviously already have one of these on display, and I had a backup, and I figure someone else might want this for their collection, so got that for y'all as well. All right, we got the main event of WWE Backlash. This is being marketed as the best wrestling match ever. Yeah. So you're first on this one.
I hit.
So yeah, go for it. Who do you have winning, and do you think this will in fact be the best wrestling match ever?
No. Let's see. Well, first off, I feel like it's not gonna be the best wrestling match ever, just because both of them have been like making fun of it, pretty much, like in their promos online, really, like just playing along with this. I feel like that was like a whole Vince thing, and they're just playing with it because they're Edge and Randy Orton. They can do what they want. I think it'll be good. I think it'll be fun. Obviously, both of them have delivered just all-time great promos throughout this entire thing. Just fantastic. Just incredible. Every time they get into the ring, every time they have a microphone, I'm sucked in. I'm listening because it is just visceral. It feels so real. Their passion exudes. It bleeds out of them. It's fantastic. As far as who's going to win, I'm gonna say Randy Orton, and that the final, like, you know, the 2-1 advantage will be blown over until SummerSlam. I feel like that'll be the final culmination of this, because I feel like Edge has a win at, what was that, WrestleMania?
Yeah.
Duh. And then Randy Orton have a win here, and then whoever wins the next one at SummerSlam, I guess SummerSlam's the next big one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that going to be in front of a crowd? Do we know?
I don't know if they've announced yet or not, but I mean, given the timeline and like some of these other companies and stuff looking like they're going to be running with in other sports and stuff, I think they're. I would imagine that their plan is that they're going to have fans there, but I guess there's really no way of really knowing yet.
Yeah, I'm gonna say SummerSlam, or hell, if we gotta go to Survivor Series, we gotta go to Survivor Series. But whatever the next big pay-per-view is, I feel like it ends there, because I just don't. As much as we're kind of like, oh, we hate, or at least I'm like, oh, you know, I hate these reoccurring storylines, so I want to end. I love this storyline. I think it's great. I think it's fun. I love Randy Orton and Edge. I think they're both great. I feel like, you know, even though Edge has been cleared and he's had these injuries and stuff, you know, I feel like him and Randy Orton trust each other. I feel like that's a very important thing, especially with Edge's neck. I feel like I don't get scared watching him and Randy Orton wrestle, like I do with, like I say, a Daniel Bryan with some other people. So I would not mind this continuing, because of just how good it is and just how good they are together. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and say Randy Orton takes the dub.
Yeah, this is a really tough one, because you have really good reasoning for choosing Orton. I'm looking at the chat as well, and most people I think have Orton, and have really good reasonings for it. So it's really hard to choose a winner in this one.
Yeah.
My gut says Edge. I feel like they're just, I don't know. It's similar to the Jeff Hardy thing to a degree, where it's like, how long do they actually have Edge? Like, how often can he wrestle? How often does he want to wrestle? Like, you know,
Yeah.
how's this gonna work? But I feel like if they have Edge, even part time, to where he's wrestling, I don't know, 10 times a year or whatever it is. If they have him even that much, I think they're gonna push him to like world title level, like as much as they possibly can.
I wouldn't have a problem with that.
No, yeah, I don't have a problem with it either. I just think that, I don't know. I feel like a loss to Orton kind of halts his momentum a little bit. But if you beat Orton in like the rubber match, if they had a third match, he gets that back. I've also seen Drew McIntyre saying stuff about how he wants to wrestle Orton at SummerSlam. So like, the only way that would make sense is if Orton could like get some wins here. But then again, we've already talked about that. Like, not necessarily. A lot of people coming off losses get title shots in the WWE.
Yeah.
Same with UFC lately, by the way, which just bothers the heck out of me. Shout out to those of you who watch MMA. Don't know how Jose Aldo's getting this title shot against Piotr Jan. It's ridiculous. I think you got to go with Edge though, or at least I'm going to go with Edge. I totally understand the reasonings for Orton though. Like, it makes total sense for Orton to win also. I just can't see Edge taking a loss right now, coming off of this layoff, and I just really feel like they're gonna just build him as much as they can. Use him. I don't want to say this. I don't mean it in a bad way, but like use him up as much as they possibly can while they have him. Like, if
Yeah.
a couple years left of wrestling in his body, I think that they're gonna do the most they possibly can while they have him. Especially when they don't have like Brock around or Cena around, or, you know, Undertaker's like super part-time and all those guys. They don't really have a lot of like their stars, and Edge is kind of a former star that kind of fills that spot for now. So Yeah, it's an interesting one. I want to know in the chat
It is.
whether you super chat or not. I am interested. I think most people are saying Orton in the chat, but feel free to get your predictions out there because this one to me is the hardest one on the show to get
Yeah,
a prediction for.
I agree. I'm just sending you the entries right now. I'm
Thank
doing
you.
it in Skype chat.
Perfect. Perfect. So Jesse and I are going to get out of here in a second. I'm going to talk about our sponsors for the show real quick, and then
And if you go ahead.
well, I don't know if you were going to say like now is a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead. I'll start.
So now is a great time if you have any last super chats. If you want to get your input about Backlash and your good predictions and your wild takes or whatever, go ahead and send in a super chat. We will get to it. If you have any last minute entries, be sure you like this video, please. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. If you're new here, you will get a little pop-up on the screen too to subscribe, and then tell us, do you want a free Wrestle Rumble? You want to be a part of our little contest here? Just comment I liked, I subscribed, and I want an entry to our contest for an entry. Yeah, so if you do that, a super chat, if you do super chat, you will get 2 extra entries. If it's over $10, you will get 3 extra entries into our little raffle here. I am sending Steven some names right now. However, we can always add names. So yeah, while we're going through the sponsors, this is the perfect time to get your super chats in or get your last minute comments. And I have loved the chat today, by the way. I think the chat has been fantastic. The interaction just brings me so much joy. Thank you everyone for being so freaking awesome. It has been so much fun. So yeah, let's get going.
Yes. Did you send those to me already?
No, I'm getting
Okay.
through them
Just
right
want to make sure I didn't miss them. I saw the text message you sent me.
Yeah, I don't know who that is. I was trying to figure it out.
Tiger King?
Yeah, well, I know that's Joe Exotic, but who's he standing with?
Oh, that's so that was Robbie E in Impact.
Oh.
Now he's in NXT now as like the manager for I can't remember what his name is in NXT. You're gonna have to look.
Oh, is he
Stone.
Is he Chelsea Greens?
Yes, yeah. It's like Robbie.
Oh my god!
Yeah. Sean,
All right, thank you so much, Shamra. Yes, I'm adding more.
so you got more chances for Shamrot. You can see there he not only liked, subscribed, but he also sent a super chat.
Thank you.
Chances that are in our raffle here last minute.
Oh my goodness.
And keep those coming if you want a chance. You still have this time for. I'm going to talk about our sponsors, and you got all this time to get those last minute super chats in for more raffle chances.
Rob Stone, that's it.
Rob Stone, yep. That Tiger.
Oh god! Sorry.
I've
flying
watched
Bobby.
that Tiger King documentary probably 5 times through at this point. Like,
Yeah, so great.
he was like a pro wrestling like
Yes.
creator for like really low level indies, really cool. So first sponsor we talked about today is Heroes and Legends. They're a professional wrestling memorabilia company. They have action figures, DVDs, autographs, old magazines, anything you could possibly think of. Autographed 8x10s, everything. Heroes and Legends is the place to get this stuff. I do not want to show you my direct messages, but I do a lot of these people. They actually messaged me during the show, and those Bendums, like that Paul Bear that I was showing earlier, I have gotten deep into collecting these Bendums, and he has some rare ones that I need to take a look at, and I might be the super chat money is going to good use, y'all, because any money I make on this chat is probably going right towards Bendums.
Nice.
But yeah, I love these people. Chad Flatt is the person who runs Heroes and Legends. He's a great guy. He will give you an honest deal, super easy to deal with, and he gives you really good prices. Especially, like, let him know if you do any business, let him know you heard about Heroes and Legends through me and Jesse's show, and I guarantee you get some good deals on some really good stuff. Make sure to follow them on all social media at HL Pro Wrestling. They also do like live auctions and claim sales and stuff on Facebook. It's awesome. He just shows stuff, and if you want it, you can claim it, and he invoices you the next day for whatever you claimed. So it's a really great way to collect, and yeah, really really good people. So thank you once again to Heroes and Legends. Also want to give a shout out. That's the company I work for. I mentioned Brian Jensen. This is my brother. He is a professional boxing coach, part owner of Steel Boxing Athletics out of Atlanta, Georgia. Runs, operates, works for, and with multiple Parkinson's foundations. He can help you reach your goals. If you're losing or looking to lose weight, get in better shape, whatever it is. If you're a professional boxer and amateur, he can corner you. Really can help you in a lot of different ways. And the best way to get in touch with him is just to jump on Instagram, give him a follow at BoxingATL. That's BoxingATL. And you can see some good examples here. This is actually a police officer, as you know.
Oh, awesome.
He's strapped up too. You can see his guns and stuff. Yeah, look at this dude. He's got a gun flopping around.
Oh my God, I'm like, mm-mm.
My brother's out there training the people out there, trying to keep the street. This is during like stuff or in the protests, like right around that time. He's been helping some of these police officers with their hands. And this isn't like a police type scenario, but like there's a lot of good cops out there too. You know, there's a lot of bad cops, but there's a lot of good cops also. And the good cops need to be prepared to deal with bad people. And my brother's been helping out some of these police officers, which is pretty cool. But that's inside of his gym in Atlanta, Georgia. So he can meet you in person. He can also meet you outside. Like if you don't want to come indoors because of the pandemic and stuff, he'll meet out in the park. This is him helping someone outside, doing some pad work. He can also help you online. If you're not in or near the Atlanta, Georgia area, this is him helping a Parkinson patient with some dexterity work. So he'll help you like through Zoom and stuff like that. So once again, Brian Jensen can help you reach your goals. Hit him up on Instagram at BoxingATL. It's BoxingATL. Get a knockout workout without getting knocked out. And lastly, we have WrestleRumble.com. We've been talking about them a lot. Make sure to give them a follow on Twitter at WrestleRumble. And make sure to enter the triple belt, the Big 3 belt bash. You get the winner will get all three: the Winged Eagle WWF title belt, the ECW World title, and the WCW/World Heavyweight Championship. That raffle drawing is going to be on June 14th, right after WWE Backlash. The entries are only $1 a piece. And speaking of all that, it is time to pick some winners.
Yeah.
So, I just got your list here.
And then Greg sent PayPal, so he got 2 extras that I sent after.
Okay, I just saw the PayPal donation. Thank you, Greg.
Yay.
For that. So Greg is in there. And I appreciate you spending that money here instead of the website. You know what I mean? That goes for everybody. Like, any of you, I fully understand who've given super chats. You could have just entered the contest with that money. But we really appreciate supporting.
Yeah.
And another upside to this, too, is, like, obviously I have an ongoing relationship with Wrestle Rumble. It's been going on for probably, like, 3 or 4 years now. So it isn't just this. This also supports, so, like, Wrestle Rumble knows, like, people are watching, people care. We're helping spread the message of what this website does. And by y'all donating to the chat and being involved in these kind of giveaways through our channel, that's what also helps us to where, like, when there's the pick'em contest and stuff like that, the stuff that costs more to enter generally, like the $10, $20, $30 type stuff, we get free entries to that too that I can give away to y'all in future predictions and stuff like that. So this all goes to help Wrestle Rumble, help the podcast. It really helps everybody involved. We very much all appreciate it. I am copying the list of what Jesse sent me right here. And what website did I use last time? Do you remember?
It should be in the Skype chat.
Yes. Let me get that pulled up.
Yeah, Random Maker.
Yep. Boom. All right. So.
Oh wait! Before we do that,
Sure.
Before we do that, let me plug my stuff.
Oh yeah. Sorry. Go. I'm sorry about that.
I forgot. No, I forgot too. I totally forgot. So
let me.
before we do that, I'm gonna tease you.
And this gives you a little more
you
time.
can-
If you got any last second, you got a few more minutes.
Yes. Last second, ready to go. So I do have an OnlyFans. That is the best way to support me directly and to get into contact with me. I don't like to answer Twitter DMs, unless Steven hits me up and says, "Hey, check your Twitter DMs," and I'll answer it. But I just have to be in the right headspace. So the best way for me to always be in the right headspace is if you subscribe to my OnlyFans. That's onlyfans.com/Jessie the Buckeye, JESSITHEBUCKEYE. I just had the new photo set drop last night. It was actually really popular, so I'm really happy about that. Everyone seemed to really like it. I try to do that a lot. I try to post on the main page a lot too. It's really fun. Have a lot of fun over there. Obviously, my Twitter handle, Jessie the Buckeye. It's everywhere. It's on the screen. It's in your home. It's everywhere. It's on your phone. That's the best way to contact me on Twitter. My Instagram and my Facebook are private, so I keep those kind of separate. And yeah, so that's the best way. I do have a Papa John's pizza code. It's JESSI25. That's 25% off your online order. You can use it up to 100 times through December 31st. So get on that. Get some Papa Bless. Get some Sody Pops and some pizza pies. And then obviously subscribe to the YouTube channel if you like what you see, if you like our chats, if you enjoy this. I would love a subscription on here on YouTube. It would really mean a lot. And if you could give this video a thumbs up, if you do enjoy it, really helps us out too, and the algorithm gets people to see it more, and we can get more people in the chat and more positive, happy people. So thank you.
Shamrod says, I will use that tomorrow.
Yay!
Yes, definitely support, and yeah, those Papa John's codes absolutely come in handy come wrestling pay-per-view nights and stuff like that. So awesome. I just got another text from you.
Yes.
Okay. I just saw that.
That's this month. Or
Right,
last
we'll
month.
talk about that off stream. Thank you for telling me
Yeah.
that. And also Greg Cherry, I know you're still in here. I just because I will 1,000,000% forget if I don't tell you right now. Me and Jesse talked about the thing that you were messaging me about on the last show. We're gonna pass for now. I meant to message you back about that, but we are gonna pass for now. But we will absolutely keep that in mind if and when we decide to go that route. Basically,
Trying to figure it
this is
out.
a good time for me to bring. This is a good time for me to bring this up. There's potentially we could potentially put out some merchandise at some time in the near future. We're not quite to where we want to do it yet, but we've been talking about it a little bit. And part of the challenge with that is we don't have a name for our podcast. We don't have like a logo. We just come on here and talk about wrestling because it's basically when we have free time and it's something that like we're interested in, or big shows coming up or something like that. So merchandise is going to be a little difficult without those things. If anybody in the chat has any ideas as far as either a name for the show, which I feel like we don't even really need a name because it's just kind of this live chat. But if there's any kind of like design or logo or something that you think would be maybe cool for merchandise, we will entertain that. And especially if there's any kind of demand, like if enough people are telling us, if we put out some, $15 or $20 shirts or whatever, if there's people who want them, we will look into making that happen. But we also don't want to like spend a whole lot of money on something that like nobody really wants. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like we want to make sure we do it the right way. I know personally speaking, I put out merchandise way too quickly for my personal podcast years ago. I wish I would have slow rolled it in hindsight. So we just want to make sure we do it the smart way when it comes to this, and that's all it is. And Greg, yeah, if you have like some ideas for that kind of stuff, I'm all ears for anybody who Shamrot, anybody. JGZ says he would want merchandise and stuff. So yeah, if you're interested in merchandise, we'll at some point we'll roll out some T-shirts. But first we need some designs, because even though my job is basically I make graphic designs for MMA on Point, and I video edit, and I do a lot of stuff that's very graphic design oriented. but I work mainly within like template type things where like I know what something's supposed to look like. I'm not good at coming up with things from scratch. Like just like coming up, like even like my Fight Talk logo, the FT logo that I use for my personal show. And when me and Jesse, like this will go on the Fight Talk podcast on that feed in the audio version for our predictions today. Even that logo, I hired somebody because I couldn't think of like the best way of just putting the F and the T the way that they did and stuff. So I don't have the kind of mind for it. So yeah, let us know if you have ideas, concepts, whatever it is. We very much appreciate it. All right, so I think we are all caught up on everyone who has either super chatted or let us know in the comments if you've liked and subscribed. Obviously, Shamrot has the best chance here, but
Yeah.
and for Shamrot's not against anyone else, but for Shamrot's sake, I hope he wins at least one of these with everything that he's donated today. But yeah, let's do this. So I think it's gonna make me I think I'm gonna do it 3 different times. And there's a chance that all 3 of these go to the same person. I mean, it's going to be just totally random.
Not our fault.
Names. Right. But it also incentivizes everyone where, like, you could potentially win more because you have more entries in there. So, all right. Shamrat says, will you do MMA on Point? Yeah, I've run their social media for like 3 years now. Everything you see on most of the things.
Just the videos.
Yeah, I'm one of the video editors as well. So like, I'm actually transitioning out of social media work right now. We recently hired somebody that I've been like helping along the way to fully take over for the social media. Mac Malley MMA, if you might know him from Twitter, he's one of the best MMA Twitter accounts out there. The guy's awesome. He's hilarious. We recently brought him on so that I could focus more on full-time video editing because we got a lot of videos and video editing is super time-consuming. But I just had a new video go out on Thursday if you want to check that out, and I'm currently working on a new one that I think will go up on Tuesday. So yeah, if you're a fan of mixed martial arts, MMA on Point, definitely check that out. All right, so the first winner we've got is Shamrot. Good. All right, you got at least one. All right, so mark Shamrot down for 1 free entry.
Yes, and just DM you, right, Steven?
Yeah. So thank you, Jesse. So to claim these, I'm just gonna need to get your information. If you're on Twitter, that's the easiest way of doing this because I can either have Wrestle Rumble send you your raffle entry. Well, actually, how are they gonna do it when it's a little different than the contest entries? Basically, as long as I can get your Twitter handle, and I'll probably need like your email address and or your phone number.
You have to DM. Put that in.
I don't want that. I don't want you putting that in the YouTube chat. But the best way of me getting that information is through direct messages. And basically, what I'll do is once I have all 3 of the winners' information, I will send that directly to Wrestle Rumble, and they will enter you. They'll either enter you into the contest themselves, or they may have to send you like a link to click that'll like confirm your entry. I'm not sure how it's gonna work for the raffle because normally these are for the pick'em contests where they would have to send you a link so you could fill out all your picks. I'm not sure how it works with the raffles, but Twitter's the best way. Shamrot says yeah, I'll DM you on Twitter. Okay.
Woohoo!
It says his Twitter is.
Yeah, we love you. Yeah.
Let me mark that down. I will make sure to find you on there, Shamrot, if I haven't already got you on there. So Shotgun Prod G, and that's Shamrot. S-H-A-M-R-A-T. I hope we're saying your name right, by the way. I don't know if it's Shamrot or Shamrot or if I'm even close. But I hope I am. All right. Let's, whoops. That's the wrong screen. All right. Let's do another winner. So we got Shamrot up first. Next winner is Greg Cherry, congratulations. So
Yay!
it's a free entry. Greg, I already have your Twitter information, so I'll direct message you right after this because I know where to find you at. And lastly, third winner is going to be Shamrot. Congratulations, man.
Yay!
There's a perfect example right there. We'll do Shamrot times 2 on the winners. And that just goes to show you, Shamrot donated quite a bit to the chat today. He got quite a lot of entry chances in there. And that's kind of the advantage that you get from being as active, is he had a lot more opportunities. And he got 2 of our 3 giveaways. So I'm very Shamrot, thank you very much. Happy for Greg Cherry. And thank you to everybody who...
Yeah, thank you, Corey. Corey has been so sweet. He's been congratulating everybody. He had a couple entries. He didn't get a win. But we appreciate you, Corey. So thank you for being such a good sport.
Yes. That goes to everybody. Thank you very much.
Yes.
All y'all, I said on the last podcast too, like the only reason we do this is, well, we'd probably do it anyway if nobody was watching, just because it's fun to catch up with wrestling and stuff. But it makes it a lot more worth it, not only because of the super chats, but because, obviously we appreciate that because it helps us out a lot with the time that we put into it. But we just appreciate anybody just hanging out and watching and stuff. So for those of you who go even farther with the super chats and donations and even those of you who tweet out our links and stuff or retweet us or something when we go live, we really appreciate all this.
We really do. Yes.
Yes, big time. That's gonna do it for me. Our sponsors. You can follow me on Twitter at @FightTalk_. I'll be recording the Fightful Select Weekender podcast for Fightful.com on Sunday at some point, talking all non-WWE stuff. So probably talk Impact Wrestling, if anything's going on in Ring of Honor or NWA, what's going on in the indie scene, IWTV, that kind of stuff. There's indie shows that are starting back up soon, which is a lot of fun. I know there's a show in Tennessee coming up in a couple weeks. There's one in Atlanta that I'm looking forward to hopefully going to next month, stuff like that. So things are starting to reopen a little bit. We're looking forward to getting to some live pro wrestling. But yeah, that's all I've got. Jessi, is there any parting words you have before we get out of here?
It's better be pissed off than the bleeped on. To be pissed on. I don't know. That's what he said when he poured his pee on him. I don't know. It was stupid. Yeah, that's about it. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining.
Enjoy WWE Backlash. I don't know when we'll be back next. I'm assuming it'll probably be Tuesday or something like that. So just make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you're following us on Twitter. That's the best way of knowing when we go live. But we'll tentatively probably plan for it'll probably be a Tuesday afternoon, maybe a 2 p.m. type thing if that works for both of us, I'm thinking. So, Cool. Thanks everyone for joining the chat. Thank you all for being active. Those of you who didn't or aren't active part of the chat but just watch as a viewer, we very much appreciate you just tuning in and watching the show as well. Thank you all very much. We look forward to being back here early next week to talk about the fallout from WWE Backlash. WWE Backlash. We'll see y'all later.